Greetings. So here we are with one last look around of Gus the Crunchy Bus. So we'll do a full tour of this 1972 Westfalia, and we'll talk to you a little bit about the history and the work that we've done. So this is Gus in its present state, and we rescued Gus a year ago. There's a picture here for you when we picked it up, abandoned in an alley in a rural Saskatchewan community, off the road for 13 years. It's been a year's worth of blood, sweat, and tears, let's be honest, and we're really excited that we finally are able to drive it and enjoy it. Let's take a closer look. All right, so Gus is an original pastel white bus. That's the original color. It's had at least one repaint, and other than that, you know, we've polished up the paint. We've done a few little touch-ups here and there, missing the beautiful big emblem. We've got that on the bus. We replaced a lot of hardware, the turn signal lights, all the bulbs, a lot of the electrical in there. We've got some correct 8-ply tires on there now. You can see all the glass is original and in good condition, minus the windshield. Yes, there's some rust on Gus. There's a few patches that were done years ago. Some of it looks to be professionally done, and some of it looks to be, you know, done by a do-it-yourselfer, but it's all there and it's complete and mostly original when we get inside. But you can see, you know, it's a 72 Westfalia, pardon me, and very original and overall great bus for someone else to kind of finish the restoration. We saw our job as rescuing Gus because it really was abandoned. This side's in a little better shape, as you can see, and but you know what, it needs some body work. It'll need a little bit more mechanical attention, but this is a great bus for someone to take the next level. All right, let's take a look in the engine compartment in the back hatch. So this is a 72, so that is a 1700 Type 4, and the engine is, I would say, in good used condition. It leaks a little bit. We've parked here for about 10 minutes. There's a couple of drips, but pretty good overall. When we bought the bus, it had not ran for many years. It had the incorrect system on. If you watch some of our other videos on this channel, you can see what it was like when we picked it up, but it didn't have the dual carb setup, which it should have in 72. So we bought this from CB Performance. It's a 34 Solex kit with chokes and linkage, and that's all new. All the ignition system is completely new, right, really from steering column all the way back. We have, you know, checked over everything with compression. It has reasonable compression, 80 to 100 in all cylinders. So that's on the lower side, but you know, it actually runs and drives quite nicely. All original in here. You know, take a little look around. We've got an extra hose, but you know, not a ton of rot in there. No scary issues on there. This side, a little different. Of course, the battery tray is rotten. We'll need some attention, but this is all there and mechanically running well. It's got the correct transmission in it, and you know what? It's just a great running bus, really, considering the life it's had. So let's take a little look. Let's take a look in the back here. So here we go. All original interior, that sort of mustard finish. Even has the spare tire wheel cover. All the cabinets were pulled out. The bus was completely disinfected and cleaned out. All the wood was sanded and refinished. All the cupboards, all this cabinetry was, you know, tidied up and cleaned and sealed. Tons and tons of work done for the last year. You know, getting the bus back in really clean and original condition. And yeah. Let's take a look on the passenger side here. Thanks, Chris. Okay, so original interior, some wear and tear. So for a few years, the bus sat with the windows slightly down when it was out in the alley. So a lot of accumulated dust and dirt and stuff, but it's actually cleaned up reasonably well. Like the vinyl still has some flexibility to it. I mean, some seat covers, you can survive it. We peeled off all the rubber matting and stuff that goes underneath there. The front kick panels are not there, but can be replicated easy enough where you can buy them. Matte floor pans have some pinholing and have a couple areas that need patching, but the overall pan itself is quite solid all the way through. Same with the dog legs. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of rut, but it's all sound. You find that in the bottom of the doors and elsewhere. A couple of spots behind the anchor, which is true with all of these. You see a little bit out in the front and a little bit in the back as well, but you know, all there, and all original. Aftermarket stereo missing, but you know, dash is all there. It's a little beat up, but you know what I mean. It is what it is. It's a nice, clean, original bus. All these panels were all removed and stripped out, and then they were replaced if they needed it, or they were given a light sand and a refinish and a recoat, so they're sealed up. And let's take a look at the other side. All right, here on the driver's side, so panels are there, all the hardware, windows up and down as they should. This is my first bus, but driving the bus is a really phenomenal experience. Just the feeling when you're sitting on top of the tire and the natural position you tend to take hunched over the wheel as you cruise. It's a great feeling. So speedo works. Some of the dummy lights work well. Gas gauge doesn't. This is a common thing in a Type 2. Never got around to fixing it, but something to be attention. Has the original belts in it and all that. And of course, has the original Westfalia interior. And so again, it was all torn apart. So we'll take a closer look. Let's go around the sliding door and take a look. Right on. Thanks, Chris. All right. So my understanding is with 72 is one of the last years to have this old style of interior that you'd find in even in the split window time. So this of course is the sink on here, which drains out directly underneath. This of course would be for the water tank. There's normally a vent that would connect up through the roof, and then this is the filler hole for the water, and you can see the cap is missing, but all these pieces and all the hardware are there. This would be a storage area where part of the drain system just waiting in there. And then this of course is an ice box. So you know, I suppose functional. It does seal, and I suppose it would be useful. Nice little side table there, so for making coffee in the morning or setting things on, kind of a signature part of a Westfalia interior. So a lot of wood. That wood was all replaced on that side. The tables here, I think that's called a jump seat, don't quote me. The rocker bed, it rocks back and forth to turn into a bed, and I'll actually do a little video on how that works. Here's the closet, or the quote wardrobe. Little mirror to check yourself, and all cleaned up, and an area to hang some clothes up there. And the floor. So this bus has rust, and it does, inner rockers are rotten, the bottom door track is rotten, and you know, it needs some metal work. But the floor is solid. This is surface rust. There's a tiny bit in here, and it may look scary in the video, but it is shockingly solid. So which is great. So sadly, someone did cut a couple of holes in that base cabinet, obviously for speakers at some point, but all things can be repaired. The vinyl's in great shape. Curtains were destroyed, so we tossed them out, but it's all here, and all these unique little pieces. So let us actually should talk about this too. So this has the louvered windows. I think they're called jalousie windows, I believe is the actual name. They all work. They would of course crack open like this, and then you have a set on the other side as well, and they all work. They do not leak. None of the windows leak except for the front windshield. That's the only thing that needs to leak, but it needs a new seal and some replacement, but it's all there. The pop top, all there and in great shape. It's complete, no major cracks. There's a little bit of flaring on this corner, and it needs a seal. It never had a seal when we got it. We never got around to it. And let's take a look at the canvas, what it looks like together. All right there, so we just popped the top, and so that's the original canvas for the bus. Has all the screens in it. It has some wear up on that area where it folds over. And we looked at it, I think it could be patched with some canvas, and you could salvage that top the way it is. It's kind of cool because it is very original. But if not, all those pieces and stuff are really easy to come by and very available. So we'll take a little bit of a look inside so you know what's up top, the pop top. So with this style in 72, with it popping forward, excuse me, this allows us to stand up tall up here. There's no bed on top of here or in behind. There's actually a cot that runs across. So literally it's just a matter of, apparently I need to hit the gym. Okay, there we go. And that pulls the cot out, and you know, it's stained, but it's all there, and there's room for, I'd say, a child. I wouldn't say an adult could sleep up there, but it's just cool, a real cool kind of piece. And I don't want to put these down, but screens are still there in great overall condition. And at the back there and the top, a bit of a headboard area, or you know, you can a ceiling, I guess you could put some information, put some things in. So let's flip this bed down just so people can see how these work. Okay, so the way this bed works, first of all, is the table needs to be down in the down position, and underneath here there's actually two holes to kind of grab on, and you can see in the wood they're notched out. Underneath here you'd have storage. I think in this bus originally it might have even had an auxiliary battery for a heater or some sort of supply. It doesn't anymore. But so you lift this up and it sort of locks into place, and you can pull the base down and it lies down flat, just like that. And there you've got a nice, you know, 6.5, almost 7 foot bed, about what, 40 inches wide or so. I mean, I wouldn't say the whole family sleeping in there, but you know, quickly converts, the foam's still in good shape, and you kind of lay out, and that's essentially how it works. To put the bed back down, you rock it up, and you can hear that as the arms engage again. And now when we push it down, it'll recess and fall back down into the position that it is. And I leave this up when we're showing it and driving it because I just think it's a really cool feature, and makes me think we should go get a coffee and enjoy a little bit more time in here. So that gives you a little bit of an outside tour of Gus. It's been a great adventure with my son. We bought this together, rescuing it, and it's time for it to go to a new home, but for a very good reason. We had intended to keep this bus for as long as we could ever imagine. My son's 13, and so we thought it would be a great thing, you know, to start driving when he's 16. But the truth is that I had another option to get a bus that I've had on my wish list my entire life. It's a bus that's from our community. It was sold here brand new in 1974. And so, you know, it's time for Gus to go to a better home, for someone to restore it to the next level, and for me to begin a new adventure with Vango. So let's take a look. All right, so here is Vango. Vango is a 74 Westfalia, sold new in our community, and is dirty and completely original curtains, all original cabinetry, the stool, the center pod with the cooler, the beautiful orange and plaid interior. Watch for a lot more videos around the story of Vango and its history, but this is why we are going to be getting rid of Gus. So this, like I said, is an original bus, sold new in our community, and still resides here to this day. It busted an engine some 20 odd years ago and has been parked under a tarp ever since. Never driven in the winter, only used as a summer toy, and like nearly 100% rust free, is going to be a fantastic project bus. So be sure to follow us and watch as we bring Vango back to life. All right, so thanks for following along with our adventures with Gus the Crunchy Bus. Stay tuned for more with our new bus, Vango. Take care.